hey, listen, I treat everybody with respect. Doesn't matter.
I know you.
We're all the same, right?
I know
All
you
the
do,
same.
man. You're a good man.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
You always have been a good man. That's why I'm doing this thing for you, because
Thank
enjoy
you.
it. Vernon's the same way. Yeah. We just enjoy, your positive approach to everything.
And I love the Mountain Mike's Pizza coupon.
There you go.
Yeah.
Shoot, I had this thing.
I got to take advantage of that sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh man, well, we got big eaters in the house, so that comes into play.
That's right.
I'll go get a couple of pizzas. Come home. Nikki comes home from practice. I give the pizzas. He goes, thanks. You and Mom, what are you guys gonna have? Yeah. So yeah.
I had this I had your. It's like my old associate used to say, Edward, you're a good man. For what I haven't figured out yet, but you're
right. Yeah, we'll get back to you.
You know what this is? I had this thing and I actually hit a button, and it's.
What do you need?
Your
the link?
Yeah, I mean I've got the link up, but now it's like it's got to hear stupid. Okay, here we go. Okay, there we go. All right. So I'll be ready to. You let me know when we should start that.
No problem.
Up here. Okay, you ready? Here we go, guys, and away we go. Welcome. You're listening to Sports Econ 101, the show where we discuss sports topics from a business perspective. I'm your host, Edward Brown, along with my co-host, Vernon Glenn of CBS affiliate KPIX TV in San Francisco. And Bruce McGowan is back with us, a longtime sports radio personality. Hey,
at
Bruce?
Full strength.
Yeah.
At full strength. That's right.
That's right. We're all here. I'm on the phone again, but that's okay.
That's good. At each commercial break, we're going to ask a sports trivia question. And this time, the question is, scandals that rocked the world of sport.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and we're not going to ask the
I'm
easy
down
ones
for that.
like the 1919 Black Sox.
Oh, the Black Sox.
That's a little too easy.
Yeah.
Actually, I got a couple here. It's not too hard. You'll get it.
All right.
There's a lot to cover.
Yeah. A lot of balls in the air today, baby.
Yep.
Woo,
Giants have a new.
Giants. Listen, guys, I went to that 49ers game yesterday. I don't know if our nationwide audience had a chance to see the Cardinals and 49ers a little bit here and there. That was one of the most incredible games. Seriously.
I did not see it, Bruce. I had the Raiders.
Oh, the Raiders.
Yeah, I had the Raiders and the Bengals yesterday.
That would have been embarrassing if they would have lost to the Bengals.
Hey, you know what? Hey, Bengals are. Let me just quantify this. This is professional football. I mean, this is not Ohio State against the Akron Zips. Okay, where you know what the outcome is going to be. I mean, these are professionals. I mean, these guys. I mean, the Bengals came in and punched them right in the mouth, right from the jump, and that's what happens. I mean, Bengals could have won that game.
Yeah.
Now the Raiders, where they were in a giving mood because all 10 points the Bengals got were from Raider turnovers. But man, boy, we were in a press box. And we're like, man, they're running against these guys. They're throwing against these guys. They're making Ryan Finley look like freaking Bart Starr. I mean, it was like, well, what is this?
For those younger people, Bart Starr was the quarterback of the Green Bay Packers. Hey, guys, we're going to cut to our first commercial break. This segment of Sports Econ 101 is still sponsored by Pacific Private Money, providing mortgage investments that are currently yielding over 7.5%. Check them out, pacificprivatemoney.com. Stay with us. Sports Econ 101 will be right back.
All right.
I saw a little bit of that game when I was, at halftime, little bits and pieces. I have to say that I kind of knew that the Bengals were going to hang in. Hey, listen, the 49ers were down 16-0 in the first quarter.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Hey, Arizona always plays them tough, Bruce. You know that. Yeah, we can get it out of the air. I mean, the Arizona Cardinals to the 49ers. Arizona's like the ex-wife or ex-girlfriend that you just can't get over. You just go to pieces when they walk in the room. It just stirs up all these emotions. They know what buttons to push, and they just take it to the 49ers every single time.
I have to say, Kyler Murray is the most incredible young man I've ever seen. He's a little guy. He's like 5'10" for a quarterback.
Yeah, but he's going to be a problem. Yeah. He's going to be a problem for a year. We got Kyler Murray over here out west, and you got Lamar Jackson for the Ravens out east. Those two guys, man, what a show they put on.
It makes football exciting again.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no question.
The new breed of quarterback.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I hate to say it, Drew Brees has passed. He's still a great quarterback, and he and Phillip Rivers are great competitors, but they're past their prime, no question.
Mm-hmm. And that's something when you start seeing the drop off, and that's something.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Well, it happens to all these athletes, with rare exception.
Yep.
There's the guy yesterday I was looking at, Larry Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
36 years old. He's still pretty good. He's not the Larry Fitzgerald he used to be, but he's still damn good.
Yeah. He's pretty clutch.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
You guys ready?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right, here we go. Well, welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Edward Brown here, along with Vern Glenn and Bruce McGowan. Off air, we were just talking about how the young breed of quarterbacks. Woo, holy smokes! There was a time when it was getting a little bit boring. The quarterbacks just didn't have it. But Lamar Jackson and Kyler Murray. I mean, these guys, they seem like they got it all.
And Bruce, it just seems like it was just only a short while ago where those types of running quarterback were just kind of looked in a different light. I mean, it used to be they got to be 6'5". Yeah. They got to have the rocket arm and make all the throws. They can't running. Oh, forget that.
Well, you had Steve Young, who could run really well.
And before Steve Young, there was Fran Tarkenton for our older demographic. I mean, Fran Tarkenton, he could just run around and just make you look silly.
Yeah, the
last 2 weeks watching the 49ers play the Seahawks and now the Cardinals, those were amazing classic games, and it was mainly due to these two guys, Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray, and not to take anything away from Jimmy Garoppolo, because I thought he showed a lot of poise in both games, but my God, as I mentioned to you, 16-0, the Cardinals were up in the 49ers' house at the end of the first quarter, and on top of that, you're playing arguably the best team, or one of the best teams in football, and as you said, Vernon, Arizona knows how to give the 49ers a touch, and Shanahan was saying that he expected a good game, as did Gruden. Gruden, as you pointed out, you were at the Raider game. He knew that it was not going to be a cakewalk, and he was right.
Yeah, he said in the middle of the week, he said during his press conference, he said, hey, you ever hear of Evanston? Well, they walked into Rupp Arena and knocked off the Kentucky Wildcats. Yeah. It can happen at any level. And as I said, I mean, and this is just for the armchair quarterbacks that are out there that just think they know what's going on, and they just look at the records and just react. You just can't look at the records. I mean, the Bengals are a good football team. These are professional athletes, and they came in to the Oakland Coliseum and they punched the Raiders right in the mouth. I mean, the Raiders were just reeling. I mean, they were just running, throwing all over them, and it wasn't only until a little bit before Gunther, the defensive coordinator, and the rest of the defense were able to adjust and then just hold it down. But man, it was gut wrenching for a while.
It's crazy.
I know Edward wants to move on, and it's a good reason, because you and I, we're both of us, especially me, have diarrhea. But it's interesting to note that the Raiders are moving to Vegas, and yet, even though it's the move to Vegas, their fans are so fanatic. Me personally, I grew up with the Raiders. I love the Raiders. And I hate to say it, I could care less. Even though as a broadcaster, you're supposed to be indifferent. You're not indifferent, because if you're not a fan of the game, you shouldn't be doing this. I hate to say it. I grew up here, and I cannot believe people still support this team when they got one foot out the door. I don't like what they're doing. I don't like what the NFL is doing with all these franchise moves. I think it's bad for the game, but the NFL doesn't care. All they care about is money. And
well, aren't you still upset that they moved to LA many years ago?
Yes, I was. Yeah, very upset.
Yeah, well, not if you grew up in LA, and the Raiders are the first team that you really got behind.
The heart of the Raiders, guys. The heart of the Raiders was always in Oakland. I grew up here. I went to a lot of games. I covered the Raiders in the 70s when I was a young reporter. A lot of games, like about 30 of them. And I can tell you, it wasn't the same at all when they came back.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't nearly the same in LA. Back in the 70s, and again, maybe I'm being nostalgic, but I don't think so. You talk to people who grew up with this team, and it was a special.
Absolutely.
They were in the conference. They were in the conference championships 8 of 10 years. They won one Super Bowl, yes, but they never had a losing record from 1967 to 19. I'm trying to think. Until they were in LA.
82.
They never had a losing record.
Well, I don't know if it's breaking news or anything, Bruce, but once the Raiders do leave Oakland, there will be professional football in Oakland. I don't know if you guys know about this, but Marshawn Lynch has created the Oakland Panthers of the Indoor Football League, and they start up mid-February is training camp. They got a season that goes March through 4th of July, and hey, they were having open tryouts. I went because I was curious.
Oh wait, I thought you went to play linebacker.
No,
right, no, you're not trying out for linebacker.
No. But these guys, these weren't these beer swilling, overweight people. Yeah, let me get off the couch and come on, see about these Oakland Panthers. No, these guys were in shape and they were really getting after it.
Where did they even get the opportunity? Where did they hear about it?
I remember the old USFL days.
Yeah.
Trump owned the New York Generals, and he told me during an interview, "We're going to challenge the National Football League." And I think it's great, Vernon, that they're doing this, but to say that that's going to be a substitute,
no, it'll be a very, very, very small sample size.
But how did they get?
The indoor football league's been around for a while. There were 10 teams in the league, so they decided to add 2 expansion teams. One of the expansion teams is the Oakland Panthers. Marshawn Lynch, who saved the first dollar that he ever made, he's invested, and he is a co-owner of this franchise. But they're really doing it right. They're having these NFL type combine tryouts. They had it at Oakland Tech. They're having another one down in San Jose. They're having another one in University of Texas. Help me out.
Austin,
in Austin, Texas. So by the time they go to training camp in February, they're going to have 40 of the best players that they can find, and because they're sensitive to the economic climate that we live in, this team, they have the budget to put the players up and their families and feed them during the season. How about that?
Marshawn Lynch is a real true football guy, and I respect the hell out of him. He's an Oakland guy, and I really applaud him for doing that. I know it's tough to compete with the National Football League, but bless him for doing that. And
but he's not really competing because it's March through July.
Well, March, that's the season. Yeah, that's the season.
But it doesn't get too hot, which is smart. It's short, and that's. It'll be entertaining.
The USFL was in the summertime. It had modest success, but it went under within 3 years. This is a different thing. I think they're smart. They're not trying to compete with the NFL. They're just the indoor league has never tried to compete with the NFL. It's just an alternative, which I think is great.
But speaking of professional football, and I'm looking at Edward, who's looking at the clock. 2 other things that we have to talk about. One of them is Colin Kaepernick and this workout for NFL scouts. And the other one is just the residual of Mason Rudolph against Myles Garrett, the last 8 seconds of the Browns-Steelers game. We call it the meltdown.
Is it going to be
the Ohio River?
Wait a minute, maybe it's going to be a cage match.
I don't know, but man, I Bruce, you and I, we've been around pro football for a long time. That's the first time I've seen something like that in a game. In a game where you take somebody's helmet off, use it as a weapon, and crack somebody over the skull with it.
Yeah, Baker Mayfield was absolutely incensed after the game. He said that one of the reasons the Browns have underachieved is this kind of stuff has gone on, not to that degree, but it's been going on behind the scenes all year. And he's only a rookie, but I think he would know. That guy is a really smart young guy, and he's a leader. In Myles Garrett, he just completely lost it. Because he's a very talented player.
Yeah, and completely out of character for Garrett to react like that. I'll be curious to see what was actually said between the two to set them off. But Garrett's gone for the rest of the season, including playoffs if the Browns make it. So I don't know when we'll see Myles Garrett in a football uniform, because now he has to show unbelievable contrition to the commissioner of the league.
Absolutely. Hey, guys, we're going to cut to our first commercial break of a trivia question. The scandals that rock the world is the theme, all right? For a brief time, one Canadian was believed to be the fastest man on 2 legs, who had his record and Olympic gold medal stripped from him for drug offense.
Oh gosh, geez, what is his name?
That's exactly why I asked these questions.
And I can see the yellow from his eyes from the jaundice.
That's right.
That seeped in.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Come on, but you got to give us a Homer Simpson. Don't. Again, the trivia question is: for a brief time, one Canadian was believed to be the fastest man on 2 legs, who had his record an Olympic gold medal stripped from him for drug offenses. Stay with us. You're listening to Sports Econ 101. Vern's got his eyes closed. He's thinking.
Smoke coming out of my ears.
He will give us the answer next.
I got his image in my head.
Okay. All right, keep that image. We'll be right back.
Never a boring moment.
Oh man, Lord.
Of course, not getting a word in between you and me, Vernon, man. We gotta let him have it.
That's okay. No, it's okay. So I'm gonna.
Oh man, fairly common name too. God,
Good stuff.
Carl.
no, it's not Carl Lewis. No.
I love him, Vern. He actually never gotten jaded ever.
Yeah.
No, I'm just teasing on that. You're right. It's a pretty
Oh
common
God,
name.
jeez. Oh man.
It wears you out, Vernon, but I was at that game yesterday, and I should be jaded after all these years. I was like a kid in a candy store. That was amazing.
You know what? Vern unfortunately can't concentrate. He's thinking about the name.
I got to go back. I got to look at that game later on today. I mean,
you have to check it out. It was back and forth. It just
it was pretty good.
Dramatic. It was the last drive by Garoppolo was.
Yeah. He makes me a little nervous, a little skittish. It's like maybe he has to give himself some time, like Montana.
They have a very.
Well, I think that it's one thing to put the game plan in on Wednesday. You have meetings, you have your position meetings, you go on the field, you got to execute the game plan. You can have as many scout defenses out there to give you every single kind of look. But until you're rolling the ball out there and playing that game for real against an actual opponent,
sure,
you just don't know.
Yeah.
You just don't know because they have game planned for you. They know what's coming too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So it just
I don't know, just some of these passes, like he had an easy touchdown I think it was to the fullback, and it was like they overthrew him by about 3 yards, and it's like I could have walked right in.
Yeah, but you know what? But in practice, he might have hit that 7 out of 10 times.
Oh, I know. I'm not saying I could do better, but it's just like what is going on? I mean, you just gotta have a little bit more poise, a little bit.
So easy for us to say when we're sitting on the couch.
But you see other quarterbacks do it though.
No, I know, but you think about it. That there's a very small number of guys that get to this level.
True.
And we tended to just be so critical. And I'm not saying we shouldn't be to a degree, but my God, we forget, as Vernon says, we forget to appreciate it.
They're not human. They're not human. They're machines.
So what you're saying is back-to-back weeks, the 49ers in thrillers all the way to the finish.
My God.
Wow.
The greatest games I've ever. No, seriously.
Wow.
This isn't hyperbole. I'm 67 years old. I have been to over 500 NFL games in my life, and there's only a handful I've seen that were maybe 10 or 12 that were close to this.
How'd you like that? How'd you like that?
Out of the Raiders back in the 70s.
Yeah.
Who was that? Was that Jeff Wilson Jr. with a grab? Was that Jeff Wilson Jr.?
Vernon, that was the only pass he caught all day. They threw passes to 9 different receivers yesterday.
Well, they had out of necessity, right?
Well, not only out of necessity. The thing is, the Niners are so deep. They have 8 guys on the injured list, and these other guys have stepped in, all of them. And I think it's a credit not only to Shanahan, but just the kind of people and the atmosphere they've created. It's rare, and you and I have seen a lot of it. I've never seen a team come together so quickly. It's kind of like what the Warriors did, although the Warriors had a couple of years where they, they made it to the playoffs. They didn't get quite there, but all of a sudden, man, Kirk comes along and everything comes together. And I hate to project, but right now it looks pretty good for the 49ers. It really does for a couple of years at least.
Yeah. The Packers back in here next week, so we'll see.
All right, guys, here we go.
All right.
Away we go. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. One more time, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Vern Glenn and Bruce McGowan. And the smoke is finally cleared from Vern's ears, but he still doesn't have the answer.
I am.
Scandals that rock the world.
I'm embarrassed. I'm baffled.
Right.
I've got his image in my brain. I've got the races that he's run. I see. Oh.
So here's the question. For a brief time, one Canadian was believed to be the fastest man on 2 legs. Who had his record and Olympic gold medal stripped from him for drug offense?
It's Ben Johnson.
Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson.
And finally, Vern can relax.
Oh, yeah.
He now remembers. Yes, that's the answer.
It's funny. I've forgotten so many things, but when you said that, I just remember vividly that performance, and we just blew us away. And then later on, the scandal, and it's
Speaking of scandal, Colin Kaepernick.
Yes.
Your thoughts?
But did he actually wear a Kunta Kinte shirt?
He did. He did.
Okay, so what kind of message is he trying to send with that?
Well, but that he
likes Lamar Burton.
No, that he is the victim. I mean, let's put it this way. I mean, he has been in NFL exile for almost 3 years. Almost 3 years,
yeah.
and he was an effective quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I mean, this and I have to believe that. I mean, come on. He's got to be better than 35% of the NFL quarterbacks that are employed.
I'd like to see him come back just for the drama of him coming back.
It takes a team that's got the balls to bring him in and sign him.
So what right now, what team has like got quarterback issues where you're willing to take a chance with all the other drama that comes with it?
Not every team, but I'd say half the team.
Chicago Bears come to mind.
Yeah.
Even the 49ers with Jimmy Garoppolo, if he goes down, these guys, Mullins and the other guys, they're,
Patriots.
Kaepernick, we forget Kaepernick was within
as a backup
goal inside the 10.
Oh, yeah.
And then they were that close to winning. At Seattle the next year, if it hadn't been for a tip pass that Richard Sherman caught, it would have beaten Seattle, and Seattle wouldn't have won the Super Bowl that year.
Yeah.
So,
That's true.
Who knows? I mean, the guy was he was a freak in terms of what he did. But the fact that he is not playing is I hate to say it, it's almost criminal. And the NFL showed no guts, and I'm not impressed with anything they've done in terms of the way they've treated a lot of players. They are not like some of the other pro sports.
So do you
think just in case, people out there listening, they're cleaning out their garage and they have no idea what in the hell we're talking about. Okay, so the NFL on a Thursday reached out to Colin Kaepernick and said, all right, we're going to have a workout with you on Saturday at the Atlanta Falcons training facility. You be here at a certain time. We're going to have some NFL representatives come out here to watch you. Kaepernick says, no, Saturday? I mean, come on. Why can't we have it on a Tuesday where actual general managers, maybe some coaches, can come out and see me work out? The league, no. It's going to be Saturday at this time. You show up, and that's the way it's going to be, boy. And so
they added that boy.
And so Kaepernick's like, well, man, I don't have any time. Yeah, so he's just finding out about this at the last second. Okay, even teams around the league didn't know that this was going to happen. The NFL just arbitrarily decided, we're going to have this workout. We're going to do it. And oh, by the way, Colin, we're going to have you sign a piece of paper before you do it. And that way, once you sign it, you can't come after us legally anymore under any circumstance.
Well, and on top of that, Vernon, how many people actually showed up from other teams? I think it was maybe 3.
Well, here's what happened. Here's what happened. On the day of the workout, Kaepernick pulled a little okey-doke, a little audible of his own, because at this workout at the Falcons training camp, which is in the middle of nowhere outside of Atlanta, the league, they weren't going to allow any kind of media access. No reporters, no cameras.
I don't understand. How does the league, because the league didn't kick him out. It was just the NFL owners that basically.
Edward, come on.
Edward,
come on.
I'm serious.
There was so much collusion around there that it went all around the league. Hey, this guy, he opted out of his contract.
Yeah. Okay,
and now we have him. We're gonna collude together, blackball him, and not allow him in the league. So we don't have to deal with any of that. But come on, this was almost mobbed up decision.
I know, I hear what you're saying, but it's just kind of weird that, quote, the league says we're going to have a tryout. When does the league ever say we're going to have a tryout? Isn't it?
Well, it's unprecedented, Edward.
Yeah,
I mean,
go ahead.
So the league, by their rules, okay, this is a way for the league to say, well, we gave him a chance. I mean, how corporate does that sound?
I love the way you do it with your arms raised.
Yeah.
We gave him a chance.
Yeah, well, we gave him a chance. Yeah, we had it right here. Yeah.
It's like Jimmy Stewart, Wonderful Life.
So here's what happened. Reportedly, 24 NFL teams we're sending people to the Falcons training facility.
All right.
On the day of the workout, Kaepernick says, well, this isn't right. First of all, I'm not signing your little legal piece of paper. What, am I crazy?
Yeah.
I'm going to have my own workout. I'm going to have it very public. I'm going to have complete media and public access because I want the world to see this workout, to see that I still have it. Getting up at 4:30 in the morning every day, full workout. I mean,
so he's been doing that for the last 3 years.
Guy looked like an ebony Adonis when he showed up. Okay, so he had it at a high school.
Oh, okay.
And when the league representatives found out about it, they had to let the teams know. So all told, to make a long story short, there were 8 representatives from 8 different teams that actually made the workout.
Okay.
And there was media access. It was myself on the TV side over at CBS 5 in San Francisco. We showed highlights of it, and we showed an epic, very eye-opening soundbite from him after the workout about how, now you've seen what I have. Yeah. It's time for the league to tell the truth and quit running.
Wow.
Because
how did the workout look?
Kaepernick, he looked great,
okay.
and he was graded as having an elite arm. But we all knew that was coming. He was throwing the deep route. He was throwing the back shoulder fade. He was throwing. I mean, he was making all the throws. I mean, this was advantage Kaepernick. I mean, he had zip. He had accuracy. He looked great, absolutely great. So now the ball is completely in the court to any of these teams because by now we've all seen the workout. We've all seen it. Now, granted, he was in shorts. He was in his Kunta Kinte T-shirt. Yeah. He didn't have pads. He had a bevy of receivers. There was no defense. There was nothing.
But that's how they do it.
But that's how they do an actual tryout. Yeah, they're not going to just bring a guy in off the street and then just throw him against our team's number 1 defense. And that doesn't work that way. Yeah. You just want to see what the guy has, and he has a lot. So,
Vernon, I will say this too, and again, I'm one of these history buffs. You go back 50 years to the Mexico City Olympics when Tommy Smith and John Carlos raised their fists and protested the BS that was going on in America, and they were blacklisted from any further competition. And I thought we were the land of the free, and you're allowed to express your views. Obviously, that is not true, not only in the National Football League, but in a lot of sports. And again, I don't mean to be so serious about this, but it's a serious topic.
Listen, when people get arrested for praying, yeah, you're right. We ain't the land of the free.
When people get arrested for eating a sandwich on a BART train deck, then you know that's not right. But I mean, but this is the old boy network. This is the old corporate. Hey, we're gonna make a whole lot of money, and we don't need any distractions. We don't need somebody to come in and make noise.
I'm sorry for laughing.
No, we don't. We don't.
Bring in his old man.
Yeah. I mean, the NFL, they are true. Get off my lawn. Mentality.
Gran Torino.
Guys, I don't mean to sound so serious, but it is a serious problem.
Yeah.
And it's not just in sports. It's in the country. I don't want to get off on a tangent about it. But, a lot of the people listening are going to say, stop talking and mixing politics. It's all interconnected. We're human beings. We live in a society that's supposed to be free, but there's a lot of BS that's going on, and it's just human. I think it's just human nature. I don't think we should, knock America so much. You look at other countries.
Okay, so the question for you, if you're an owner of a team and you're concerned about what your fan base is going to be like or other members of the team, how they're going to react, do you just go, I'll just take a chance? I guess that's what Branch Rickey did, right?
Yeah. It really is going to take somebody like Bill Belichick, who was beyond reproach. It's going to be somebody like that to bring him in and then just, mumble at the mic. It's on the Colin Kaepernick. Yeah. And that's just the way, and that's just the way it's going to be. I think that's what it's going to take.
Well, they tried to do that with Antonio Brown. That didn't work out so well.
Well, Antonio Brown had his own agenda. I mean, that's
Antonio Brown's a nutcase. Let's know that he's a great talent, but he's a nutcase.
Yeah, Kaepernick is a thought-provoking figure who knelt not because of the flag and anything like that. He knelt because of the injustice we have in the country, and he wanted to invoke change. That's what he wants, and discussion, and that's what he did.
Wearing socks that have things on it.
But here's the question before we go to break. The question before we go to break. Does he want to be a starter playing, or does he want to be a martyr, which is what he is?
Ooh, okay. We're going to answer that when we get back. All right, second trivia question. Talking scandals that rock the world. For many cities and countries, hosting the Olympic Games is seen as a huge prestige. Many compete for hosting rights, but which city was not content to rely on charm and facilities, but bribed the Olympic authorities? That's our trivia question, all right? Stay with us. Sports Econ 101. We'll be right back.
Didn't some dudes just get popped for that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
This is going back not too far. But,
I remember this one well.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Let's see here. Do you want to play? Do you want to go into baseball with your clip?
Yeah, we can get into the baseball next segment,
okay.
and we can kind of get into the Giants to a little bit, and then and kind of talk about why the Kapler hiring has been so polarizing, and then we can get into the clip.
Good stuff, Vernon. Very good stuff. That was an amazing. What's been going on with him? I understand everybody getting upset about it, but God, give the guy a chance.
I kind of
and I'll give them credit. I mean, they are good, but boy, that press conference, Janie McCauley, Susan Slusser, and especially Ann Killian really went after Farhan Zaidi. I mean, they went after, and because Kapler was sitting right next to him, they went after him too. I was listening, and you were there. It was like an inquisition, and it was.
I'm not a negative. I think the Me Too movement is great, but that was just over the top, and it was ridiculous.
You have to remind the audience what's so polarizing about gay pride.
Sure. Oh, absolutely. Okay. Yeah. We'll get into that.
Let Vernon tell you because he was there.
Okay. All right. Here we go. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. I'm Edward Brown, along with Vern Glenn and Bruce McGowan. Second trivia question. For many cities and countries, hosting the Olympic Games is seen as a huge prestige. Many compete for hosting rights, but which city was not content to rely on charm and facilities, but bribed the Olympic authorities?
Well, Edward's batting 1,000 so far this show. We'll let him go at it again.
I have all the answers.
Yeah.
Bruce, who was it?
It was a country in the Middle East, and I'm trying.
No. Actually, believe it or not, this was Salt Lake City in bidding for the 2002 games.
What?
I know. That's warming country.
2002 Olympic Games. Wow, the Winter Olympics.
Yeah, Winter Olympics.
I remember there was some controversy about the Middle East. They were trying to, they were talking about maybe having Olympics over there, and I thought, I remember that. But no, you're right. And I'm wrong as usual.
That's okay. No, that's okay. All right, so let's get on to the Giants hiring a new.
Okay, we segue. Okay, this is the baseball segment of it, and I had the I guess the privilege to witness the fifth, well, actually I should say overall the 17th San Francisco Giants manager in the team history, and that was Gabe Kapler. And Gabe Kapler, as many may or may not know, he was the former manager of the Philadelphia Phillies. He's 44 years old. He's a young man, and going back into his history, he was a player. He came over the Tigers, played with the Tampa Bay Rays, won a World Series ring with the Boston Red Sox in 2004. But Kapler, who's an LA guy, very liberal man, very good at relating to the players, and very much into the numbers and the analytics and playing the percentage. He does know the game, but could he manage? Well, the Phillies took a chance on him, and it just didn't work out, and he was let go, and then subsequently got into the mix as a candidate for the San Francisco Giants manager position. Now, let's backtrack to 2015. Okay. 2015, Kapler, then a young man, was in charge of the Los Angeles Dodgers farm system. His boss at the time was Farhan Zaidi. Okay. Farhan Zaidi, he was the baseball ops guy for the Los Angeles Dodgers, brought him in. So they have this relationship going back to 2015. In that year, there were two incidents of sexual assault involving two minor leaguers, and these women came forward and said, hey, this happened. Kapler found out about it, and did as all corporate America companies have mandated. You go to your immediate superior, and it goes up the flagpole.
Okay.
He did that. It went to corporate. It went to the lawyers. And what did the lawyers do? Nothing. They ran. They hid. Nothing was happening. Kapler then, being naive as he was, and again, this is 4 years ago, he went back to the victims and the players in question and tried to have a sit down to kind of work things out. Unfortunately for Kapler, it was a ambitious attempt to kind of make things right, where what should have happened was the Dodgers should have gone to the police, the authorities, work with the authorities to come to either prosecution of these players or whatever. Well, that didn't happen. Okay. Fast forward to now, February of 2019, an article about that comes out in the Washington Post. So it didn't really come to the forefront until a handful of months ago. So, and it comes to the forefront now because here we are in a situation. Farhanzadi is the head of baseball operations. He was interviewing some candidates to try and come with a replacement for Bruce Bochy. All of a sudden, Kapler becomes available. Kapler becomes a candidate, and then Kapler becomes manager. So,
but even the fact that he was with Philadelphia, I mean, I know far anxiety with the Dodgers, and it happened during under their watch, but I mean, just him getting hired by Philadelphia, that it didn't seem to come up then, did it?
If it did, we don't know about it because we as a public didn't really know about it until it was reported earlier this year.
Okay. In fact, specifically because it's the Dodgers. Tell you what, let's look.
Okay. Edward's looking at the clock. We'll call that a tease. On the other side,
we have an interview that you did with Gabe Kapler.
Oh, we do. Yes. Yeah. I had the chance to sit down with him, man. But before you play that, let me just build the drama. Okay. So they have an introductory press conference. It goes for an hour. 80% of the questions were about the assault charge, how it was mishandled, and how Farhanzadi, out of all the candidates out there, many of the minorities, picks the one guy with the baggage. Why? And so
because he had a relationship with him, right?
He had a relationship with him, but why? But there were more qualified guys who didn't have the baggage.
So what's the implication?
Well, the implication is the cronies protecting the cronies, and I knew this guy, and so I'm bringing it in no matter what he did or did not do. And from the female audience, this was not a popular move. Sure. I mean, it was a very polarizing move. Yeah. And most of the questions came from really reputable reporters that we have here, and Susan Slusher and Killian and Gina McCauley, as to how you could possibly make that kind of decision. And there was a whole lot of backtracking, a whole lot of, well, hey, we're sorry that it happened. Yeah. We didn't ask the right questions. We didn't this, that, the other. But still, that decision was made. So these guys were really taken to task at that. Sure. Now, after that, they do the little dog and pony show. They have them, throw on the Giants uniform for the photo op, and then the interview session comes into play, where we, members of the local media, get a shot at him for just a few minutes. You sit down and kind of talk to him, kind of a get to know you type thing. So that leads to the audio of this interview that I had with Gabe Kapler.
All right, here we go.
Gabe Kapler, the Giants' new manager. How does that even sound when it comes out of my mouth?
I'm still processing it all. It's really humbling, actually. When I put the jersey and the hat on in the press conference, it reminded me that I'm one of 30 managers in Major League Baseball, but more specifically that the opportunity to be the manager of an iconic franchise with as passionate and an intelligent fan base as this is, in a city as diverse and open as it is mind-blowing, man. It's I feel really lucky right now.
Yeah, you're a young man. I mean, you're 44 years old, and this is what your second team that you're the skipper of.
Yeah, well, I think one of the cool things about being in Philadelphia was I learned a lot of lessons, had some of the rough edges smoothed out,
right,
and then was reminded that I have a long way to go as it relates to learning and being better at the job of being the manager of a Major League Baseball team.
what would you say is your big takeaway from your experience as Phillies manager?
I think my biggest takeaway is I'm kind of wired to try to get every little strategic advantage in the game. And the reason I'm wired like that is because I'm just naturally very competitive. I love to win.
Right.
It's very important.
And anything? Checkers?
Yeah, no, I want to even so much as like if you're having a healthy debate with somebody, you want to walk away feeling like you did a good job in that conversation. So very competitive. And in doing so, I also recognize that in-game decisions become very competitive as well. But one of the things I learned in Philadelphia is that you can't make those in-game strategic decisions at the expense of confidence with your players. So specifically, you might get a small upgrade in a matchup, but it might take away some confidence from the player that you might be pitch hitting for or taking out of the game to replace him with somebody else. So understanding that has a ripple effect, that you might get an upgrade in the game, but for 5 games going forward, you might lose a little confidence. There's a little psychological game that happens within the dugout and between the lines, and just being cognizant. One of the things I learned in Philadelphia is just how to be cognizant of the balance between using the best information that we have and instilling confidence in the players.
You know what I like about you? Your transparency. Because I've been through a lot of press conferences, so I didn't know what to expect today, taking the temperature of social media last night, and you just took it head on. I mean, you took some tough questions. I mean, Susan Slusher and Killian, Gene McCauley, those are 3 of the titans in this market as far as describing you. Hey, you just took it on.
I think the reason that they're titans and the reason they've been so successful in their careers and why they're so well respected is because they ask the tough questions, and they're committed to change. And so in order to be committed to change and to have a voice in this community, you have to hold people accountable. And I don't mind that. I think it's actually really good for society. I think it's good for sports franchises. The baseball needs to change and move forward and be better at handling some of these issues that we tackled during my time in Los Angeles. And I have a lot of growth. I didn't handle those situations as well as I could have. And so tackling it head on, being open about it is something that's really important in these situations, and why the women that you mentioned have been so successful in their careers.
In this day and age, it's 2019, Gabe, and this is the age where it's all about perception and the brand.
Yeah.
And starting off, I don't know if you feel like you're down 8-0 at the top of this one, and you kind of all of a sudden just like kind of play defense. But when somebody kind of looks at you, the perception is, I don't know. How do you go about turning that around?
By not trying to turn it around in one day, not trying to turn it around in one conversation. Knowing that trust and belief is built over a long period of time, and being very consistent with my actions. And one of the actions is getting out into the community and doing good work.
Now, I know you know a few guys in the clubhouse. I believe a while ago you played with him. You might know Stephen Vogt if he's around.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure, but I'm going to get Sarah to hand me the phone here, and just assuming the camera's still rolling, make sure the red dot is you see the red dot up there? Okay.
I feel like I'm about to get put on the spot in a major way.
This is going to be good. I can see Longoria taking this picture going, hey!
I knew it. I didn't know if you were going to pull that one.
Stud, man. That's a studly picture.
That's a young kid. I don't even recognize that. No, it's really interesting. That was a time in my life as a baseball player where I was able to enjoy those moments and have fun with them. And now, having my teammates bust my chops for it over the course of my life, it has given me thick skin. And one of the great things about being in a Major League Baseball clubhouse is you just totally exposed every single day.
Right.
You're around these guys as much as you're around your family sometimes, and they're constantly busting chops. And so sometimes it's really important to have a sense of humor and to roll with it a little bit. And so baseball has taught me how to have thick skin.
Okay. So that was our interview that was Vern's interview with Gabe Kapler. That's pretty good. He just, he hit it right on. He hit it straight on. It didn't avoid
so now he's got to go out, Bruce. He's got to go out and try and regain the confidence in this franchise that was lost because of this managerial hire. I mean, the Giants have taken some hits. I mean, Charles Johnson contributing to the Trump campaign, out of the ownership group. We saw what happened to the Giants president and his incident with his wife. with Larry Bear. The Giants have taken some hits, and their attendance is dropping. So something needs to happen for a franchise that won 3 World Series in a 5-year span.
Winning will get you back on track.
Yeah, but it's been a while.
Yeah, that's true.
Guys, they're not going to win anytime soon. And far hindsight, the good news is that helped to build the A's with Billy Beane. He helped to build the Dodgers into the great team they are.
Yep.
Again, I'm playing devil's advocate here. That was a great interview, by the way.
It was. Hey, guys, we got to cut to our last commercial break here. All right, we're talking scandals that rock the world. Betting on sports means big money, and it can be the motivation behind bribes offered to participants and officials. In which sport in 2011 were 6 officials banned for life for match fixing?
Okay.
And if you can give me, well, we'll see if you can give me the answer to that one, all right? Stay with us. Sports Econ 101. We'll be right back with some closing comments.
I vaguely remember, but I can't. I don't know about you.
I think it was the NBA. Wasn't a guy, a referee got...
well, not just one, though. Six of them.
6 of them.
Yeah.
No, you're right about
You're thinking Donaghy or something?
Yeah, that had to do with, not steroids, but it had to do with, I think, point shaving or something like
Yeah,
that.
that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my guess, at least.
No, I think it was. He wasn't like out and out, he wasn't taking bets or something, but he was apparently dealing with some people, and there was some questions about what, they never proved anything, but there was a lot of smoke.
I believe in the early 60s, like 1961, maybe 62, there were some players that were involved in point shaving.
The college
Yeah.
The college basketball.
Yep.
Are you guys going to be able to make it next Monday, the 25th?
No, because that's the day I fly back from New York. I got Jets Raiders this weekend.
Can you do the 26th?
I can do Tuesday, but
Okay.
but Monday I can't do it.
All right, let me see what's.
Yeah, and also, Vernon, I mean, guys, I don't mean that I sent you this long. It was in the middle of the night. There's a lot of shit right now. And
Yeah.
I don't want to get into it, but it's just crazy. It's been going on. And I don't want to get into it because I don't mean that.
Especially since we're still recording on the YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we'll do is we'll plan on Tuesday the 26th.
Okay.
Okay. I didn't mean, I just don't know. I don't want to commit to something because right now things are just, I don't want to get into it, but it's just crazy.
I get it. I mean, we'll put it on the calendar, and if it happens, it happens.
It's called don't make promises you can't keep.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Then this will just be our quick little 2-minute closing.
Can I just make one quick follow-up to Vernon's doing it? I promise I won't be long.
Okay.
All right.
All right. We'll answer the trivia question, let you go on, and then we'll close out.
Okay.
Here we go.
Okay. The quick response. Because I really like to get this in.
Okay. Here we go.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Last time for today, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Bruce McGowan and Vern Glenn. I changed it up a little bit there. Betting on sports means big money, and it can be the motivation behind bribes offered to participants and officials. In which sport in 2011 were 6 officials banned for life for match fixing?
Wow. Vernon, I don't know about you. I'm drawing a blank.
Okay, I'll just tell you. Soccer. And it was Hungary and Bosnia.
Oof.
Yeah, those two rascals.
Where was it again, Edward?
It was soccer.
Hungary and international soccer.
Yeah. So, Bruce, you wanted to make a quick comment about Vern's interview.
We'll say that. Again, I'm playing devil's advocate. The kind of things that happen with the Giants, how many of those incidents happen with other teams that we've never heard about? There are a lot of, most women, and I agree, that most women have to, for them to come forward and embarrass themselves and have to go through all that crap, pardon me for using that language.
That's right.
It's amazing to me. We should know about this because probably 80 to 90% of the women out there are either sexually assaulted or given a hard time by guys. They don't go to the authorities. They keep it to themselves because it's a humiliating situation.
Yeah.
I guarantee you this, that there are a lot of teams out there that have covered that kind of stuff up and have not been forthright about it.
Absolutely.
I guarantee it.
Absolutely. We're going to cover that part off the air because we have to cut out now.
I'm going to say, I've covered sports for 24 years,
Yep.
and I know this to be a fact. And Vernon knows it too.
Now, I don't disagree at all. Okay, here's our thoughts for the day. when you have fun, this has been fun. When you have fun, it changes all the pressure into pleasure. You know who said that? Ken Griffey Jr.
Don't
Doesn't
did
that
he?
sound like Jr.?
All right.
And Ricky Henderson said, in baseball, you train the whole body except for the hips and the eyes. I thought that was kind of interesting.
Well, he would know.
Yeah. I mean, stole a few bases in his time, right? You can't train the hips, right? It's like, what do they say? You can't.
You know who does a great Ricky? Bruce McGowan.
Bruce McGowan does. He does.
Yeah.
We'll let him do that next time because we got to cut out here.
All right.
Tune in next week to Sports Econ 101. Maybe he'll do his Ricky impression then, where we discuss sports topics from a business perspective and ask more sports trivia questions. Thanks for listening. On behalf of our team, I'm your host, Edward Brown. We'll see you next week.
Good night, America.
So long.
One of these days, I'll do my Willie Mays impression when he got really, really pissed at a reporter, and rightly so.
Ooh.
And it was classic. And this reporter, years later, I talked to him. I said, "You didn't have such a good interview with Willie Mays," and I didn't mean to embarrass him. Yeah. He was really pissed off. He goes, like that. And I'm going, "Oh boy, I should have."
Well, wait, I want to hear it now.
You want to hear it? Okay, I'll tell you real quickly. It's a good one. Old Timers game, 1982. A lot of the ex-Giants showed up. Willie Mays by this time is 50. He's still a pretty good athlete, but he's obviously not what he used to be. Hit a couple balls during batting practice over the fence. Played in the game, had a base hit or two. He's got a whole bunch of reporters around him. Willie's a pretty good guy, but he's also, if he doesn't know you, he can be kind of rough with you. I got to know him pretty well, and he was really nice. I don't know if you got to know him at all, but he shows up once in a great while.
Yeah, he calls me Pee-wee. His pet name is Pee-wee for me. Yeah.
So anyway, this reporter is asking him, and I've heard this interview so many times that you think I'm crazy, but I remember this. Willie, the cheers, the fans, the excitement. He must have said, Willie looks at me and goes, "Who are you anyway?" And the guy goes, "Oh, I'm a reporter." How can you ask me a question like that? Willie get this high pitch with. How can you ask me a question like that? You know, if you're in baseball, you will miss it. If you're a writer, if you have to leave your profession, you will miss it. Well, what are you doing to stay fit these days, Willie? And then Willie just starts laughing. He goes, don't you keep up with what's going on? Ask Nick Peters. Nick Peters is this long-time Giants writer who's standing right there, has known Willie for like almost 30 years. And Nick looks kind of does and goes, "Oh, Willie works out. He plays golf." And then Willie looks back at the guy and goes, "Most people know what you're talking about. It's nothing new." And then the guy, he follows it up with a third question. And he says something like, "I guess you do miss something about baseball."
Oh, jeez.
And Willie's going, and Willie looks at him and goes, he just laughs and sort of, I don't think you know me. And he goes, "Does anybody else want to ask a question?" And here's the irony. This guy, this reporter, he's a good guy and a very good reporter, but sometimes, and I've done it too, we ask the stupidest questions, and I've done it many times, and we don't even think about it when it comes. I sat down once with John Madden. The Raiders got clobbered in the game by the Broncos, and they were coming off the World Championship. And I said, "Coach, you guys had a rough day. Were you not emotionally ready for this game?" And he could have bit my head off. And he looks at me and he goes, "No, it has nothing to do with emotion. It's just the fact that we turned over the ball 5 times and they didn't turn over the ball once. That's pretty much darn near it."
Well, that was very nice of him. Yeah.
Such a good guy. So, Willie wouldn't put up with any BS. Willie is, and you think about where he comes from and how great he was, he would not put up with any BS. But if you got to know him, oh, man, what a nice guy. "Hey, Bruce, aren't you working at KBO?" "I'm working at KCO or KGO." "Where's that?"
I'd like to meet Willie. I wanted to meet Willie.
You never met him?
No.
Oh, man.
He was always my sports idol.
Was the nicest guy you'd ever want to meet.
I tell you, there's only two athletes out here who formerly call me Vernon, and Willie Mays is one of them, and Willie McCovey was the other.
Yes, and
everybody else calls me Vern.
I didn't even get to meet him either.
McCovey?
No.
Oh, I got a great McCovey story. So this handful of years ago, and Jake is with me at a Giants game, we're kind of underneath the stands of that little level outside the Giants clubhouse.
Yeah.
And McCovey comes by. He can't walk, so he's in a golf cart. Yeah. Somebody's driving him around, and he stops. He starts. He signs for a couple of people, and then Jake had a baseball, and he kind of nervously kind of like hands it over to him, and he looks at him. He looks at me, and he says, yeah, what if I decide not to sign it? I might change my mind. and Jake just kind of, his face kind of like
what do you mean you're going to sign it?
And he just laughed, and he signed the baseball and gave it to Jake. Yeah.
That Willie had his own little private suite. They gave it to him because he was so beloved up in the broadcast area.
Yep.
And you could go up there anytime if you wanted and just hang out with him for a few minutes and talk with him. He loved to talk baseball. Yeah. And he was just, so easygoing. And this is a guy who, as Brendan was saying, was in a wheelchair, after the time he got out of baseball, playing on that horrible candlestick surface for 10 years, which was like playing on a parking lot. His knees just got destroyed by that, and then the doctors screwed up the operations. Two of them back in the 1980s, and he was basically crippled by these guys. He could have sued him, but knowing Willie, he wouldn't do it. And the poor guy. I mean, he probably would have lived to be 80 anyway. But the fact that he lived to be 80 is a testament to how easygoing and his good nature, and the fact that he didn't take anything, the wrong way, and